Okay, so I just used a regular 5-star notebook. It's a just spiral bound, college rule, flannel, schmamo. The one thing I did do is I made sure that I got one with a vinyl cover because they last longer than the ones with the paper. And this one happens to have a little place where I can put in, you know, what we call our homeschool or the year or whatever I want. So I was, and then another good thing about these notebooks is that they come with these pockets in the front, which we're going to be getting handouts. So that is good. I skipped the first page. It has some personal information in case it ever gets lost, or if I need an address or anything. So the first thing I did was I figured out how many categories I needed. So I have math, fine arts, geography, Latin, science, history and timeline, language arts, and reading. So, and I kind of had to figure out how many spaces I wanted. I actually drew it all out by hand with a ruler. And then up here it says week 1, Classical Conversations has 24 weeks. Sorry, my hands are cold, so they look a little purple. So this is week 1 of Classical Conversations. We meet on Wednesday, so I needed a planner that started on Thursday, and then Friday, Monday, Tuesday, which is part of why I ended up making my own planner. So, if you notice across the top of my subjects, I don't have Bible because we do it together as a family. And the first 2 assignments in our Bible program, one is called the Bible, and it talks about the different categories that the books of the Bible fall into, how the Bible was made, etc., etc. And then it goes straight into Genesis. And by the time we're done this year, we will have gone through the whole Old Testament. So that is exciting that we can do it as family. This little tab right here, Classical Conversations, is divided by semesters. So it's 12 weeks and then 12 weeks after Christmas. Different groups do it different ways. They might do like 3 weeks and then a week off. Ours is going to do 6 weeks and then a week off. But everybody will be finished by Christmas and then start after the new year. And then I just have just regular tabs here to tell me what week I'm on. So, some things we are doing together. So we're doing Bible together. MOH stands for Mystery of History. We'll be reading this together. These will be our history lessons. I haven't filled all this out yet, but I had some friends who wanted to see it, and I wanted to give them a chance to get started because it's just slow and steady progress. I do a little bit whenever I'm watching TV or supervising kids or whatever. So these are 2 books that we're going to get from the library for reference. I've already made sure that our library carries these books. Let's see here. Blue is for the little boys, books for the little boys. And then orange is books that I would like everybody to listen to. And then pink is technically supposed to be a read aloud. I do not enjoy reading out loud. My voice can't take it. And I have so much to do in a day. I never read things out loud. So I think what I'm going to do this year is Delaney is going to read 1 chapter and Julian is going to read another chapter. And they will do it within my hearing range while I'm, cleaning or writing a grocery list or making a menu, multitasking. So, every week in our Classical Conversations, each child has to do a presentation, so I have it kind of split up on what they do, and then this will be our catch-up day for presentation work. I try to leave Tuesday pretty light, because if we have catch-up day, then I won't have a ton to carry over to the next week. And part of the accountability of being with a group is that you have to stay on track. So if I was doing this on my own, we could just carry over. But when my kids go to community day on this Wednesday, they're going to be learning new things. So the presentation has to be done. So there's the blank there. And I have more language arts to fill in here. Delaney is in a writing class, so I have started separating out. I've divided into 4. I just haven't finished these 2. And then I also haven't put in the little boy's phonics, or Julian's reading and comprehension. So this is kind of just what it looks like. So the second week will be on Exodus. Everything else is pretty much the same. I have done some of the science. Let's see. So this week, we will be learning about vertebrates. So these are some science readers that we'll be reading. These are some history readers that we'll be reading. And then the big girls will be reading Detectives in Togas. And then we'll still be working on presentations, and IEW is a writing program. So by the end of the week, Delaney will have a paper done. So this is just kind of how I have it set up. We love to use the library as a resource, so I've already checked to make sure that they have these books. One of the advantages of using the Post-it notes, I know a lot of people might think it's wasteful, and I could write it in, a friction pen where you can erase. With the heat here, heat makes the friction pen writing erase. I did that one year, and I found that out the hard way. Yes, you can make it return. You just put it in the freezer or in something cold, and your writing will reappear. But I got so tired of erasing and having to write over. And so say this Monday someone is sick and we end up having to go to the doctor's office and we don't get this history lesson done. I can just peel it up, and then I can just put it down for the next day. So Tuesday we would just do this lesson, and I don't have to rewrite anything. Classical Conversations is based on 3 cycles, and so I will be able to reuse this again in 3 years. Of course, my book choices may change based on the ages of my children. I mean, who knows? Isaiah might be reading what Xander and Solomon will be listening to by then, and then my boys might be writing the papers. I mean, I think it'll be good to have and to keep. And so this is going to be my lesson plan book. This is not my original idea. I actually found it on Pinterest, and I didn't pin it, so I'm not really sure where it came from, but the teacher only had, she used big Post-it notes, and she had like 3 rows and I think 3 columns, and that's what she used. All I've been doing to make these is these little tiny Post-it notes, and I found that like for the IEW, I can write a line, cut it, and then write another line, and I still have sticky. So same thing for these. I only had to use 1 Post-it note for this, so I'm using all the sticky parts. And then because I've been working for a while, you can see I have just a bunch of scrap. I'm not being very picky about the color coding because my children will be studying the same things. And so I can kind of tell, but you know, you may want to color code it more. It's up to you. So this is just a brief rundown of how I do our homeschool planning, or how I'm doing it this year. So if that helps you, awesome. If you have any suggestions of how to make it easier, go ahead and let me know. I think next year, if I do this, I'm going to have labels pre-printed instead of using Post-it notes. I think the price might be pretty similar. And then I would only have to do the Post-it notes for the readers. So we'll see.